Hello indie game fan, I have more awesome releases for you to play, including some spooky games which are perfect for October, but let's begin with Technicity, a first-person city builder title that has you constructing buildings from scratch, operating a variety of machinery and vehicles to help, where first-person sims have a funny way of taking off in popularity which makes this of interest. Runic Survivor is another bullet heaven roguelite, but with its own twist, where it is all about getting and combining runes to craft your own unique spells. This system is similar to that of gems in Path of Exile, where the modifiers allow for overpowered combinations, which is what this subgenre is all about, so the potential certainly is there for this to be a hit. This video is brought to you by Gedonia, an impressive open-world RPG that releases out of early access today, making it the best time to jump in. I believe this comes to us from a solo developer, or at the very least, a very small team, so what is here is pretty impressive, with some people easily clocking in at 30 plus hours of gameplay or more. It does have a rather open-ended story where you leave your village in search of a better life, free to explore the world and to run into its dangers, with some possible world-ending doom and gloom stuff on the horizon. Characters can specialize in a variety of ways, which falls into the usual classes of warrior, mage, and assassin, but the multiple factions that you can join, allies to recruit, quests to go on, puzzles to solve, and you can even have your own house which you can decorate, growing plants and raising animals as well. There are also multiple ways to complete the quest, much like an immersive sim, although it does use that very overused asset pack for some of the characters, which is a bummer, but it's a well put together game worth picking up. The original Choice of Life Middle Ages was a pretty decent card-based adventure game where you're making choices to guide a character from birth till death, with the sequel being more of the same, but now has you guiding a prince born into the royal family. The critical question that it asks is how does a prince go on to become king, where the choices that you make will have an impact on this, with great art as well. A very curious entry is Night at the Gates of Hell, a very low fidelity title with almost PSX levels of graphics, being a survival horror title that taps upon old school zombie flicks, but not those movies that you might be thinking of, since apparently the influence is from Italian cinema. The developer intentionally went with slow zombies, where the unnatural visuals and stiff animations really does harken back to another era of survival horror games and is an impressive piece of work.
Still wondering if it was such a good idea to send those morons back in the past.
It was our only option. They have field knowledge, and I've already lost enough people there. They're expendable.
Does it look too much like the dungeon?
They're doing quite well for ex-convicts.
The C RPG title, The Dungeon of Naheulbeuk, has been very successful since its launch in 2020, having a distinct D&D campaign feel to the game, where they released the paid DLC titled Back to the Futon, one whose story premise is built on time travel, with this having 4 story chapters, which is about half as many as the base game, so it's a fairly hefty expansion. So if you love games like Divinity Original Sin, do give this a go.
Get even more uncontrollable if they become more powerful.
Is there no ounce of sanity in the whole party?
Agent X is with them. He's a strong asset. He should keep them focused.
We've screwed the timeline. I'll be executed.
A quick, simple operation.
Sorry to burst your bubble, but they hired me for 4 chapters.
What?
Is it really too late for a plan B?
This new land may differ from the desert steppes, but this is not the first time we have uprooted our home. It won't take long for our falconers to clear through the fog of war. And while other clans expand cautiously, we rush out far beyond our lines, foraging with the aid of our hawks.
The awesome 4X RTS Northgard made my Game of the Year list in 2018, where things have really changed at developer Shiro Games in the time since then, whose success has to be attributed to this game with a whopping 37,000 Steam reviews, with the latest DLC being Clan of the Eagle, adding a new faction which is in line with previous releases and extends the life of this game.
Grief, leader of Hræsvelg, the clan of the Eagle.
A fairly decent looking top-down action RPG is Weird RPG, which might have a bit of a strange translation issue since it's from a Chinese developer, but based on the number of Steam reviews, is popular enough to warrant some attention. As far as I can tell, this is not a roguelite, but rather a boss-focused top-down action game, although there are plenty of fodder enemies to kill as well. However, it really lives up to the Weird RPG name, since some of the items and equipment here is really wild and innovative. For example, there's a weapon whose power is dependent on the graphics card that you have installed, as well as one that does damage when you scream into the microphone, so how's that for weird and unique? Developer Budget Eye Games is one of the masters of the modern point-and-click adventure game, where they publish The Excavation of Hobbs Barrow, an excellent title with a horrifying mystery, so enjoy this trailer.
My name is Thomasina Bateman. I'm here to visit a local landmark, Hobbs Barrow.
I heard about a Hobbs Barrow somewhere out there. There's some old stories about it.
Surely you don't believe these tales of goblins and curses to be true?
Samuel boarded up that barrow for a reason. Something unnatural occurred, I know it.
Is there a single barrow in England that doesn't have some ghastly tale attached to it?
Don't mind the locals, miss. They mean well, believe me.
Give us a kiss now, won't you? Tell me, Miss Bateman, do you believe in God?
Who were lost in visions of hell itself. The devil. I saw the devil.
What madness is this? Something is wrong here.
A top-down Souls-like title currently in early access is Achilles Legends Untold, which did launch to a rather lukewarm reception due to a lack of content, but the developers are continuing to work on this, releasing update 0.2.0, which adds more content and some quality of life improvements, where this is shaping up to be good and might join the best someday.
It's beyond my grasp.